I'm one of those obsessively tidy individuals, and I have very little on my desk. And if I've got a lot on my desk, I feel stressed. And so therefore I find the best work I can produce is where I have as little clutter in my life as possible. So I want everything very tidy on my desk, and I also would like nowadays to have if I'm going to do some thinking work, I also want to have dealt with all of those little emails as well, because then they just niggle away at me when I'm thinking. And I like peace. I do not like open plan offices. I work rather antisocially with my door closed, and it's not that I don't welcome people if they want to come to see me, but I don't like noise, and I like just peace and quiet, that I can think through a problem, and I find that gives me my best work. Yeah, well, usually you know something's going to come up, and I mean, I think a lot in my shower. I like taking long walks, and I think about these things when I'm doing these things and mull over them, and then desperately try to remember at my stage of life all the arguments that I thought of, which I think are good arguments, and so I make a note. Nowadays, I usually make a note on my smartphone of the particular points that I want to make to somebody, and so I find that to be helpful. But again, this is just me. I want to emphasize to those watching this, the students, that they may come up with a totally different way of doing it, and that there's no right way. It's what's the best for you and what will give you an environment to produce the best work. I think it's fair to say that even the most efficient person, and I think I am quite efficient, you always have something on your desk at night, you're left over. We all have a bit of a mental block about it, and in some firms, actually move files around, that when you get to that point whereby you just can't deal with that particular item or that file or that client, they then swap, they give that file to someone else. Okay. Now that's quite a good idea. But the other thing, if it's your particular client and it's your particular problem and you have to deal with it, I have always found that once you get into those files, they're never as bad as you thought they were going to be. And you sometimes wonder why you didn't get a move on earlier with that particular matter. And what I'm saying to students is that all of us have this. And I wouldn't consider, you just don't have too many of them, but it's not a failing on your part, because I think everyone has a file or a matter which they find difficult to get into, but don't sit on it for too long. Do find space to get into it, and if you're finding it a little bit difficult, talk to your colleagues about it, and it's always a problem shared is a problem halved.